guys, welcome back to Second Kick Moto and Auto. More installment on the Honda Shadow 750 Project Aero. Well, I finally got all the paint work back, and I've had it sitting for a while, but it's time to get to work on this and get it going. So I got the bike on the lift, and I'm going to spin so you can see the paint just to see how nice it is. But there you go. I went with a traditional red and white, so it's got sort of that vintage Indian red color and the white. I've got parts everywhere in this garage, so it's a disaster right now, but you can kind of see there's the front fender right there. So we're gonna get to putting things on. The tank is just sitting up there. I just put it up there to get it out of the way, but first things first, I think I'm gonna try and get on that front fender, but we'll see here. I think I'm just going to get some steel wool on here and see if we can get that cleaned up a bit before I start putting a nice shiny fender on it. So step one will be steel wool the lowers. So I pulled the front wheel off. I took all the hardware that I had mounted up here so I didn't lose it. And I've got it all down here. And I've got some tools ready to go. And I gave this a good wipe down after I steel wooled it. There's some fine lines, but those will polish out. I'm just giving them a basic cleaning. I'll hit them with some aluminum polish, and that will come out. So the next step is to get the fender out from behind that mess without scratching it, and I'm going to get it up into place. The scary part's going to be, because that fender's so big, once it's in place, is jacking the front of this bike way in the air to get the tire back underneath, because it's the way it has to go together. So when I come back, I should have the fender loosely sitting in place so you can see it. And I got the front fender on. That looks absolutely amazing, even with the tank just sitting there with no wheel. So while everything's kind of loose here, and this was sketchy, I would advise, if you're doing this stuff, to get a friend to help you out. It needs a polish there. I got a couple of touch-up spots to polish on this. It was sketchy, but I got it up there. So I'm not sure how the brakes and the front wheel would go together if the wheel was on. So I'm going to put this caliper on. I've got everything just loose right now. So I'm going to get the caliper in place, and that way if I have to wiggle the fender a little bit so it's not getting damaged, I'm going to. Then I'm going to go ahead and tighten. So I can't remember, it was so long ago I filmed when I mocked this up, but I did take the original Honda fender brace and I just trimmed it. So it's a matter of just putting the original hardware back together, and I'm just going to go ahead and tighten those up, and then but first I can get the brake caliper on, but that'll be my next steps, and then we'll come back again, and then we'll look into putting this front wheel on. So the sketchy part's over and the wheel is on. To do this, I have to take the bike way up in the air, and it's a big balancing act, and getting the wheel wiggled in and bringing it back down. I do have everything tightened up. This is a little bit loose here, which is good because it's really close to the brake rotor. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to space this fender over this way a little bit just so it clears, because I really don't want to cut that out and wreck the appearance of this fender. I also did put some holes there for a brace, especially back here, just to pull that out. So next step is I'm going to be pulling that tank off and giving all underneath this a good cleaning before we put the tank on. And that'll be coming up next. So now we got the fender on, and I've gone through and given the underneath where the tank and fender's going to go a good cleaning, so we know that's clean when everything goes together. I popped the little side covers on, although these ones are pretty scratched. I think we're going to get some new ones. They came with the bike and they weren't on the bike, so they've been banged around. I'm going to get the tank on now. So if you remember from when we took it apart, this is the wiring harness for the dash, and it goes up under here, and then it's just a bolt back here, and it saddles in right there. I've gone ahead and I got the cap on, and I've got the petcock on. I used a little pipe dope just to seal it up. I know it's got a good rubber seal in there, and I'm not worried about it. I'm just always a little extra cautious. And we have our fuel line here. We have a breather vent here as well as over here. So that's all going to go on when the tank goes on. And then we'll add the dash, which is going to go on top of the tank. So the tank's mounted up. Got that one bolt in. Got the fuel lines. Like I said, don't forget, if you're taking a tank off, you've got the main fuel line with a breather. Plus on the other side underneath here, I don't know if you can see it, there's another vent tube. The dash is simple. You run your harness up through. It's got a little spot where it slides in and then down. You got these two hex bolts that hold it on, and then your dash is on. Obviously turn your key on to make sure it powers up before you tighten everything down. So that's basically the front part of the bike as far as some stuff going together. I do have like the big stuff's on now. These lights are leaving. I've got a driving light set with different signals because Honda makes these ginormous ugly signals. We're getting rid of those. We're gonna go something a little more period correct, vintage looking. But this is part one, guys. Coming into part two, we're gonna move to the back of the bike and we're gonna get the fenders and saddlebags on. And that'll be the next one. We're gonna have to get the wiring all done and whatnot. And I got different taillights for the back as well. Different signals, that is. Keep following this build. It's gonna be an absolute gorgeous bike when it's done. If you haven't already, please subscribe. If you like what I'm putting up, please give me that thumbs up. And tap that bell when you want to hear when more videos are up. And talk to you soon. Cheers. Thanks for watching.